My name is Adolphus Gibson. Um, in this video, I'm going to walk you through two sets of SQL scripts I created. The first set is called fun with functions, where I build scalar function to extract the first name and last name from the contact names column. The second set called fun with triggers, where I build after update trigger that automatically track when a record was changed and who changed it. So now let's go to my SQL database. Before we go, let's start with a fun. Open our first script. So now we are going to, here's my question. How do I extract the first name from the contact? So when we run this query, we generate this. So when I run this script, I can see the contact name column. Notice the format is always first name, a space, then last name. So let's go to our second script, D to term. Here, where I am, here. Now in this step two is where I start thinking through the logic before writing the actual solution. I use static to find the position of the space character. And I subtract one to get the number of character before the space. Let me execute it to see the result. Now, you can see the result here. So now look at the result here. At the result, you can see the space position and the character before space. For Maria 100, the space is at position 6. And so there are 5 space characters before space. So I'll tell query. Okay, now we are here. Step 3 is the first real SQL query. I call it the ad hoc because it is informal. I'm just providing the logic word before I build anything usable. I use left and chart it together. So let's execute and see. Okay, now here's it. Left takes the starring and charges one -1 till is how many characters to grab from the left side. Running this, you can see the contact name on the left and extracted first name on the right. Anna Antonio, Anna Antonio. You will see Anna and Antonio. I mean, it's working correctly. This is the proof of my concept. So let's move to the next. So now let's execute this. Now, so in step 4 here is where I think about air case and make the solution more robust. What happens if contact name has no space at all? Child X will return 0 and left of negative 1 would throw an error. To fix that, I use nor if and is nor together. Nor if convert a 0 result to nor and is nor handle that nor gracefully. I also do a direct spot check on the single name to confirm the result. All 3 tests pass clean, as you can see here. Let's go to step 5. Execute. Okay, now Step 5 is the mean deliverable for the function section, creating the actual user defined scalar function. I name it dbo.fn with the function get first name. So that's why I see only the first name on this table here. So as you can see here, it's clear. Let's go to our next function here. Let's execute it. Okay. Step 6 is a verification step. I place the I hope inline approach and the function approach aside in the same period, and I add a due date match column. Looking at the result, every single row in the due date match column says yes, March. That tells me my function produces exactly the same output as my test ad hoc period. They are identical. The function is verified. Yes, 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 yes. As you can see. So let's go to 7 and let's us execute this. Okay. Okay. Step 7 is actually my favorite step. It is called zero result expected test. I use a common table expression or CT to compare both approaches. The where clause filter for rows where the R hope result does not match the function result. If the function is working perfectly, there should be no absolutely zero row return. Running this, zero rows. That is exactly what I want to see. Zero rows. So there's nothing here. That's perfect. So let's go to under in the phone. Okay, we execute this. In this step 8, we restart the entire process for the next question. How do I extract the last name? The last name is everything after the first space. So I knew substarring from the space position plus 1. So as you can see here, all here is answer to everything. So let's go to our next. Now go to the phone with tag. Let's run our first script here. Now let's see what we have here. Execute it. Okay. So as we move to the second set of script with phone triggers, again, I start with a simple question here. Simple question: how can I automatically recall when a row was last modified? So here, and who modified the row? So as you can see here, there's no last modified date here, and that is the problem that I'm going to be solving in this video. So let's go to the next script. Okay, let's execute this. Okay, now. Okay, in this step 2 is very important because it explains why I need a trigger and not just a default constraint. A default constraint only filter when a row is inserted, created for the first time. It does not fire when a row update. So if someone changes a customer's address 3 weeks later, a default constraint will never know, as it is here. So let's go to our next script. Go to script 3. Okay. Now, script 3 confirm that the building block worked before I write the trigger. I test get date to see the correct server timestamp. I also manually set and then reset the last modified date on row 1 just to confirm the column accept value correctly. Everything works. Now I am ready to build the actual trigger. Yeah, okay. Let's go to our next. Let's execute this. Okay. You can see here, therefore create two after update trigger on the W3 school customer table. The first trigger is for trigger customers set last modified date. After any update on this table, it automatically set the last modified date column to get it. The current server time. The second trigger is called trigger customer set last modified DB. After any update is set, the last modified by column to show username, which return the SQL Server log name to whosoever make the change. Notice, I new set non-count on inside both trigger. This prevents them from accidentally triggering themselves in a loop. So let's move on to our next script, execute. Okay. Now Steph asks the next question. Do the trigger work correctly with multiple rows? So let's execute this. Here's the question. Let's execute this and see what we got. Yeah. Okay, I guess I've been trying to solve this particular trigger issue. Try try and see. So I'm going to improve myself. I want to say thank you for watching. To summarize, I built the full SQL objective today to Scala function, get first name and function get last name, and two after update trigger. Customer say last modified date and customer say last modified by. The bigger thing I learned from this assignment is the difference between a Scala function and the trigger. A function is reusable tools you call by name. A trigger is inflexible automation a file on its own whenever a database event happens. You cannot rely on a default constraint to track updates. You need a trigger for that. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video.